This is your First Alert Weather Breakdown, a deep dive into how weather works with meteorologist Evan Thomason.
Hey, good morning. It's First Alert Weather Breakdown time. I'm First Alert Meteorologist Evan Thomason here in the weather. I keep wanting to say I'm in the weather center just because I say that on pretty much everything else I do for a forecast. If I'm on the green screen on TV, or if I'm on your phone, on your app, specifically on the KSLA News 12 weather app. We send out app pushes. You just say I'm in the weather center for that. This is the only time I get out of the weather center, is doing this podcast here. I'm kind of just realizing that right now. This podcast, in a way, helps me to get exercise and move out of the corner of my studio, isolated in there. And the podcast studio where this is located, I wouldn't say is on the other side of the building, but it's fairly close to. Now, I mean, this is not a big building at all by any means, but it's at least a, substantial walk. Anyways, let's get to what we're going after here for the day today. I do have, unfortunately, a little bad news. I did, the topic I originally had for today, our exclusive content for you, if you will, today, originally was going to be a interview, but unfortunately, my interview person needed to move their time frame. Basically, they can't make it today anymore. So instead, we are just going to go straight into the whole forecast, and we're going to go over that so much. We're going to take that up with all of our time, going over the local forecast, and we're going to go over a look at the tropics as well. I know we went over our tropical forecast, our extended tropical forecast already earlier this week, but there's still a lot of things brewing there. With different areas of interest. Dexter, a new update from on Dexter is coming up here in just a little bit, even updated from the 9 a.m. show that we were last on. We have an update on that and some things that could be brewing potentially 2 weeks out from now. This is a very, as we kind of all know, August, September, and October. It's the 3 months that you got to really watch out for the tropics ramping up coverage. We still haven't had a hurricane yet this year, but I'm probably going to say that's likely to change here soon, within the next little while, based on signals that have been growing out in the Atlantic Ocean. So we're going to go over the full tropics. We're going to go over the forecast. I know our forecast has been bland. It honestly has. That's even me saying that. It's been heat and it's been sunshine. Is that a part of the forecast still today? Yes. But I will say, there's a strong but, though. We're looking forward to changing things around finally. Most of our forecast on Monday was, hey, it's hot and sunny now. It's hot and sunny now, and it's still going to be hot and sunny pretty much for the long term. Now our forecast pretty much is, it's hot and sunny now, but things are changing a little bit when we get into that long-term forecast. We still have to wait a little bit of a ways. Still minuscule details on what could be coming. Maybe a tiny cool down, maybe a little bit of rain. Who knows? That's why you're here. First, start with a breakdown. Anyways, so I kind of just reiterated this already. But anyways, we're going on the full local forecast here for today. My interview person will be here. He promised he will be here on Monday instead of today. Tier. You'll find out who that is on Monday of next week. Monday's edition of First Start Weather Breakdown. But for today, we will go over essentially your full local forecast. Stick around. Again, we have change here. We have excitement here. Some things actually happening around the Arklatex, and also you could say around the globe, because, again, we'll be looking into the tropics, what's going on into the Atlantic Ocean. Let's get to our forecast, shall we? All right, live look outside. John Harvey Toyota Skycam there in Bossier City. It is also the back-to-school day for many kiddos out in Bossier Parish. Starting day here for school out near there. That's exciting. I will admit, when I was a kid, maybe it wasn't as exciting, or I really wasn't enthralled, so to speak, for it. But always, when it comes to this time frame, just real quick, hopping out of the forecast, on this time frame, this always kind of helps me to realize how far I am out of school now. It's been, this would be the start of my 6th year out? 5th year. Start of my 5th year out, yeah. 5th or 6th, I can't remember. You get the picture, though. I've been about 5 or 6 years out of college now. But a tremendous ride since, and it just kind of makes me realize how old I am, so to speak. Anyways, Hopping back into the forecast now. It's a beautiful sunny day here around the Arklatex for you to be able to go back to school. But hey, it doesn't feel like we changed much about anything with the weather. Still, the summer heat is now being extended into the beginning of the school year. There's a live look at your window world sky cam out in Texarkana. You can't even see a cloud in the sky. I mean, this has been the sight every day, it seems like. There's been not just mostly we've had these mostly sunny mornings here tons of times, tons and tons of times during the summer months, but to be able to maintain these conditions into the afternoon, I think is what makes the difference from like day in, day out, so to speak. I mean, we're barely getting into this cloud cover. The point is for this afternoon. So here for the day today, it's hot and sunny, and that I will say, thankfully, continues into the weekend. I know some of you aren't a fan of the brutal hot temperatures, which will be continuing on. But anyways, I think that everybody can get behind at least some sunshine here for the weekend. There really is no major chance of rain still all the way, yes, through this coming Saturday and Sunday. But then there's the change. This is what we want to keep you first alert about. The change around for next work week, where we could be bringing back rain showers into the picture. So watch out for that. Also, before I continue on this forecast, just a live plug into my YouTube, or to not my YouTube page, but KSLA News 12's YouTube page, so to speak. If you want to live comment and have any questions about this forecast during the podcast, I can answer those questions live here for you. All right. So, anyways, let's hop back, relax, and go over the rest of the forecast here for you. Today, right now, temperatures. I will say earlier this week, if you joined us, say, on Monday, these temperatures still would have been in the upper 70s and lower 80s. That was nice. I enjoy pleasant, nice, comfortable conditions. I'm still a fan of any weather overall, okay? Look, just like in politics, so you got to be biased from one side to the other. Just, I'm the weatherman. I'm not biased. I try not to be too biased on different various weather conditions, especially when it comes to the temperatures. 88 right now, though, in Shreveport. It's definitely getting toasty out there. 89 in Texarkana, 88 in Idabel, already up to 90 in Magnolia here at this hour. That does not include the feels like temperatures, which are already stretching up into the upper 90s here for now. So you'll wonder, believe it or not, actual highs will get up into the upper 90s here later on today. That's about 10 degrees hotter than what it currently is out the door. There is no heat advisory in effect here for today, believe it or not. Now, most of that is because our feels like temperatures are going to be essentially between the 100 to 105 range peaking here this afternoon. They could certainly get above that. I think they will. But anytime the heat advisory anytime I kind of jumped ahead of myself there. But essentially, anytime the feels like temperature is above 105 for a good substantial amount of time, that's when we drag the heat advisory into the equation. Now, I'm getting to my point is we have no heat advisory here for the day today. Our heat is kind of just below the threshold. And the thing is, we have the heat there. The heat's there in the atmosphere. What isn't is the humidity. Now, is the humidity completely gone? No. But the humidity is not an incredibly oppressive level like how it has been on some of the hottest days of summer. That could come back to bite us here tomorrow. Be careful what you say, Evan. The point is, feels like temperatures are going to increase tomorrow. The heat stays the same, but the real thing is the humidity is actually going to start to increase here for tomorrow. Getting up those feels like temperatures up between 105 to 110. I'm especially watching out for that, especially across eastern Texas. I think the coolest portion of the region here for tomorrow is actually going to be areas of northwest Louisiana there for you, especially around Minden. But if you had to call out cooler areas of the region, I mean, to be fair, 100 degrees for feels like temperature still ain't cool. Anyways, this trend pretty much continues on into the weekend here for the most part as well. All right, so let's look at your temperatures. Again, it stays hot for the next several days. If anything, maybe a tiny cool down. We'll look at that further in the 7-day forecast coming on up. Now let's get into the skies here locally and go over the big picture of things. I love to do this. Go over the picture of things with my handy-dandy pointer here. By the way, I can't use this pointer, much on TV because, quite frankly, I can be there in front of the graphic on TV and physically point to it. But here on the podcast, this is just a pretty cool little tool. I've I first want to pinpoint this high pressure system out to you. There it is, across mainly the southwest corner of the United States. Now, this is dominant. You can actually see the rotation of the high pressure system around. It always goes clockwise. It's always how it ever been. If you look at some of the loop and some of the storms out in the northwest corner of the United States, those are going from the southwest to the northeast, being pushed up northeast by this high pressure system. What I'm trying to get at is the back side of this high pressure system. We got winds coming from the north down southward. Now, we are rolling out some lines of storms here, which continue to rotate around the high. That's being found right now in some areas of northern Missouri and southern Iowa right now. But the point is, that's way off to our north. We still overall have lots of dry air that's confined mainly under this high pressure system as we're a little bit closer to it. And overall, we have dry winds out of the north. There's no moisture around us. If you notice to our south, there's a stationary front actually in place, which is providing some storms that have continued to hit the coastline day in, day out. If you've been in Houston and New Orleans, believe it or not, for the past like 3 to 4 days, it's been nothing but afternoon storms every single day. That line's continued through areas like Baton Rouge and Lafayette as well. The point is, it has stayed down south. It has not come up north. Why? Because the winds are coming from the north to the south. It is essentially, the storms can't go. They can't crawl that far north and fight that northerly wind that's been stuck in place on top of the region. So here it is there to show you that on this picture, on this upper level pattern here. This continues all the way into the weekend. This pattern has been stuck in place, meaning we've been getting the same conditions, the same hot temperatures, the same sunshine here for the past several days, plural. Again, we've been hanging around, yes, with hot sunshine all the way since Sunday, Monday. It's been several days, 4 to 5 days. But again, as I kind of mentioned in my intro, things are finally changing in our long-term forecast. And why? Because our upper level atmosphere is finally getting into motion and finally progressively moving around once we get into the first thing of next week, pretty much Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. High pressure system completely shifts. Instead of it being to our west, it's now to our east, which means now with the direction of the high pressure system flow, we get winds out of the south, which means welcome back the moisture from the Gulf, which is going to spark up storms over a good couple of afternoons here for next work week. So if you're looking to do yard work and have kind of been waiting for a timeline on when that rain's going to finally come back, and you want to get that yard work done immediately before that the rain all comes back, it's probably going to happen for the start of next week. But for the short-term period, our future track, if you notice, will be pretty much bare. If anything, maybe 1, 2 stray storms here in the afternoon hours. But again, we have limited moisture in the region. I wouldn't bank on any showers at all over the next couple of days. And if they hit, it'll be very brief. And that continues again all the way pretty much through Sunday. You can look at this in the long-term future track. That first one was the short-term future track. Again, on Monday, some storms start popping up. I actually want to get a little bit before that because that's Monday at 10 p.m. This is Monday around 5 p.m. Actually, I'm going to hide my face. You can see the full picture here. You can see certainly more storms definitely coming up into the Alexandria area, but especially for Monday afternoon, some of the storms also could roll into, say, Natchitoches and Nacogdoches as well. Then for Tuesday afternoon, it's not a great rain signal, but again, a good amount, more cloud cover. Still more cloud cover overall, even for Tuesday afternoon. And still a good amount of question marks as to how much rain, if at all, we'll get here for next week. But overall, I'm expecting more cloud cover, more moisture to have the chance to produce storms over the next couple of days. So the last thing I'll go over before a quick commercial break, before we look at the tropics, I'm going to look at the tropics after this, is looking at your weekend. Again, we are completely dry through the weekend. Then once we turn the page in the next work week, that's when the rain starts. The rain chance starts, so to speak. Highs, though, still going to be hot. 97 and 96 degrees. I think, if anything, maybe a stray shower on Sunday in between Natchitoches and Nacogdoches. But, I mean, most of it's hot sunshine still for the next 4 days before that rain starts to settle on in. And that's for next work week. I will say later down the road, we might be looking at some tropics issues, potentially. We'll see. Still way long down the road. We'll keep you first alert. Coming up next, we're going to get an update to the tropics, what's been happening, what's been new out this hour, as well as we have an update to Dexter. We'll go over that after a little quick break. Welcome back to the first alert weather breakdown. Again, I'm meteorologist Evan Thompson. Thanks for hanging out with me just before lunchtime every weekday. I know CJ's been on Tuesday and Wednesday, but hey, I'm back here for Thursday. I'll also be on here for tomorrow for your Friday episode. We'll recap this more in just a moment. I do want to go over with you what's happening in the tropics. It really, honestly, as soon as I kind of mentioned this on Monday, but as soon as we clicked into August and went into the prime month, things started showing up, actually. Again, we've only had three, up until August, we've only had 3 named storms, and all of them were incredibly weak tropical storms. That's pretty much the same thing of what happened to Dexter, which formed over this past week. Now, new as of this hour, just for Dexter alone, Dexter is now, and it is technically named as an extratropical storm, a post-extratropical storm. This just happened about an hour ago. What that essentially means is that Dexter is now becoming a part of the synoptic scale, which I know is a very kind of scientific word. Yes, so let me put it to you simply. Dexter is essentially now just a big ball of moisture that's essentially along the lines of just a kind of a cold front. Now it's become assimilated with a trough and another low pressure system to where it's being essentially carried out eastward, and it's not acting as its own discretion. It's now being fully pushed by a big what we call trough and low pressure system that's going to be moving pretty much eastward, maybe a tiny bit northeastward, but the point is Dexter is going to be potentially hitting Ireland in the next couple of days. So, I mean, you look at it, it's way off the coast of the United States. The point is it's not hitting nobody anymore around here, especially. All right, we do have 2 other areas of interest, though, to get to. The first one I want to speak on is this 30% area of interest here today. Yesterday was at 40%. Around this time. It did get downgraded here last night down to 30% chance of forming. And if you notice where it's going to form, if it's going to form somewhere, is off the coast of the United States. Now, when we looked at the system earlier this week, it looked like it was maybe going to form here, right where this yellow X is, and then potentially move on shore. But it's still lacking its moisture content, essentially. Kind of following in the footsteps of Dexter. And this could be a system here in the next few days, but overall, what this system's going to do, if you follow its trajectory, is pretty much move parallel to the East Coast line, meaning it's not going to hit anybody on the East Coast. So that's just with that system. Again, if this forms, it's going to end up being a fish storm, which oh my gosh. Sorry, I had too many words in my brain at once, so let me put it simply to you. So, this is not going to hit anyone. There, simply stated. This system now, our other area of interest that's been lingering on for the last little while. Now, it is a 60% chance of forming, which is certainly a greater chance and even greater than 50-50 call over the next couple of days. But look at its trajectory, and this just came off the coast of Africa last couple of days. I will say, this is the first area of interest to come off of the coast of Africa. All the tropical storms that have already formed here have pretty much formed either on the East Coast, or we had one system that formed off of essentially Mexico and then moved off of the central, formed off of Central America and then moved into Mexico. The point is, we haven't had a storm come off of Africa, actually, and cross over the Atlantic to go westward. This is the first one to do so. And it's got a 60% chance of, again, being named as a tropical storm. But look at its trajectory. This is going way up north, especially for a tropical system standards here. The point is, this is expected to curl up and out. Usually, if you already start curling up northward this early, it's going to be hard for you to reach directly northward from a position like here, right, essentially. So this is going to be curling up and essentially almost following Dexter. It is not going to hit land at all, even if this does form. So to go over all 3 of these systems here for you, I'm going to go over it on this graphic as well. None of these 3 systems are affecting anybody. There's Dexter. That's, first of all the moisture completely sheared off onto the northeast corner inside there, and that's going to be going towards Ireland in the next couple days. And you see that whole trail of moisture that's bringing along with it. Ireland's going to get pounced with some rain. You can see our 30% chance of area of interest and why it's only 30% chance. It's not brewing a whole lot of storms around the circulation there. It's lacking a lot, honestly. Just a little bit of convection on this side and a little on the tail end on the southwest corner as well. But so far, that's really it for there. And then the last area of interest, again, which has the best chance of forming here, is going to be this system right in here. For the moment. Now, the other thing I want to mention is I know we have 2 area of interest and a formerly named tropical system, and that would be it, at least for the next 6-7 days. But I do want to turn your attention to what's going on off the coast of Africa. The area of interest here is this one. Now, the reason we haven't had a whole lot of tropical activity, period, is because there's been a whole lot of Saharan dust clogging up the Atlantic. This system is almost swallowed. I won't say swallowed all of it up, but it's essentially leaving behind a good trail of moisture behind it. And we could be looking for future areas of interest right in here, maybe even in here. You get the point. There is a whole Congo line of scattered convection which could stir up eventually in the days ahead, which could be moving in a different direction than what this area of interest is moving in. So the point is, in fact, the Climate Prediction Center has even noticed this. They try to look for things way, way down the road. Here's the thing. The National Hurricane Center, with all those areas of interest, they only pinpoint things that are going to form within the next 7 days. This would form, and we have had signs of something forming with essentially just past the next 7 days. Something 7 to 10 days down the road, right in this red circle right here. And from there, who knows where it goes? Because obviously this is like 10 days out. The fact that we're noticing something that could form in that area is impressive enough way down the road. And again, this is just it forming like a week to a week and a half out from now in this area. Where this goes, who knows? It could go either direction. We will see, and we'll keep you first alert. I don't have an answer to that because obviously, again, it still isn't going to form for another 7 to 10 days, and then we'll track it from there, okay? Let's take one thing at a time. But the point is, as well, that August is going to be rapid intensification in the Atlanta tropical season, and I would not be surprised to see a hurricane shortly. So we'll see what happens, and obviously we'll keep you first alert. Meanwhile, local 7-day forecast real quick here for you. Not so dry conditions to enjoy over the next 3 to 4 days. Incredibly hot. Those highs are in the upper 90s. If anything, they might cool down to the mid-90s here by Monday and Tuesday. That's mostly because we get a little more cloud cover around to help us out from the sunlight a little bit, just a little bit more. 20% rain chance starts on Monday, and that will continue every afternoon through Wednesday. Essentially, that rain chance is still low overall. I still have a lot of question marks with what's going to happen with that little rain chance over early next week. There's some models that don't even show any rain happening between Monday and Wednesday at all. But essentially, moisture content will be increasing. We kind of saw that from what's happening in the upper levels there. Again, our atmosphere is in motion as well to give us the potential for those storms early next week. I'm just expecting a couple pop-up afternoon storms, kind of the typical pattern around for our summer standards. We'll see what happens. I think there'll be some days that'll have more rain than others. We'll let you know. And that'll be a question for probably tomorrow and definitely over the weekend. Your weekend forecast with CJ. But I will be back on here tomorrow. Thank you guys for joining this podcast so much. I always appreciate it. We have one more episode left for this work week on the First Alert Weather Breakdown. That'll be tomorrow, Friday at 10:30. We'll go over your weekend forecast in store, not just locally, but we also go into on our Friday episode. We go into the weekend forecast for those of you traveling outside of the Arklatex as well. Anyways, thank you very much for joining me. I will see you again tomorrow, 10:30. Be there, be square. Most importantly, be weather aware, especially with rain eventually coming back and especially during tropical season. We'll see how that goes. Anyways, have a good one and see you tomorrow, Friday at 10:30. Peace out.